All right, okay. Thank you everyone for coming to our Kiwanis Family Workshop 101.
Hi. So if you are not muted, please be sure to mute yourself. Thank you very much. Now that we're getting started, I'd like to just share what our agenda is for today. It's an adventure, if you can't tell already, by all the little poros. First, we'll go into who we are, your poro peeps for the day, Christina and I. Second, what is the Kiwanis family? Third, interclubbing ideas. Fourth, Youth Protection Guidelines, or YPG. After, the event request form, or ERF. Next, resources. And lastly, holding an open space for discussion and any questions. Thanks.
All right, so oral piece, we're going to be introducing ourselves on our next slide. And if any of you are interested, we have a little challenge going on. It's if any of you can count all the number of poros, not including the background. And by the end, we'll announce what number of poros we use in the slides. Yes. So first, all right, hello everyone. My name is Christina. I'm a fourth year at Cal State Fullerton. I'm an anthropology major. And previous positions I've held is a Club Kiwanis Family Chair in 2018-2019. And then I just served as the Kiwanis Family Relations Director for my division Citrus, and also served as the Citrus Liaison on the KFF District Committee. And fun fact, I studied abroad in Australia for 3 weeks over winter break.
Cool. And I'm your other co-host, Monica Willems. I'm graduating this semester as 6th year because I'm a transfer student at San Jose State studying public health and music. I've held several positions, which I will not bore you with the details. They're on the slide, but some of the highlights are KFAM, which has become really my life, if you can't tell. And this past year, I've had the pleasure to serve on the Kiwanis Family and Foundation Committee with Christina. That's how we became really close friends. And right now, I'm still in the position of committee member for the International Kiwanis Family Relations Committee. My fun fact is indeed that I carry around a giant green spoon, which I have with me. If anybody's Filipino, its name is Spoon Ading, which means like little sibling. And if anybody is asking, it is a Yogurtland spoon. It was signed by a singer that I like, Judge Benson, and I use it to rally people up, for them to say hello and know where I am in big crowds. So if I'm at Kiwanis family events, you will most likely see me because of this or my shark hat, because it's fun to see and you can see me above crowds because I'm not really that tall. I'm above 5 foot, but it's helpful. Yeah, so that's us. And hint, hint, there are some poros on this page. They're really cute. I think we're good to move on.
All right, Monica, what is the Kiwanis family?
That's a big question, Christina. And on this slide, there are a lot of different emblems that you can see, different seals, we call them. And this comprises the Kiwanis family. Kiwanis is an organization that serves children, and a lot of the different orgs that you see here are branches of the Kiwanis family, the majority of them called SLPs, or Service Leadership Programs. Going through all of them right now, because we will go in depth just in a bit. The first one, starting on the top left, is K-Kids, which includes children from elementary schools. Leveling up, you would go to Builders Club. Next is Key Club. There's special fun facts that we'll go over later. It includes Kiwins as one of the special districts. If you're on the next row, we're at Circle K International, which a lot of you are from Circle K International, and we're glad to know you all. Second to last is Action Club, which is comprised of members of the Kiwanis family with special needs. And of course, Kiwanis, who's our parent branch.
Okay, so with K-Kids, like Monica said, they're the elementary school branch. They are our youngest branch, and they have over 3,600 members with over 1,200 clubs. And they only serve on the club level. So if any matters that need to be taken to a higher level, they get representatives from their schools or Kiwanis. And if anyone is interested in sponsoring or co-sponsoring, then you can ask your Kiwanians and Key Clubs, and Kiwins can also co-sponsor K-Kids.
Next level is Builders Club. As I mentioned, it's a middle school branch. There are over 45,000 members, 1,600 clubs, and it also exists only on the club level. A really cute fun fact is that I met a member from the Builders Club for the first time 2 years ago. And if you don't know, San Jose State is in Sunset Division. And this member, I kid you not, it's from Sunrise Middle School. So I think it was meant to be. Quite honestly, we haven't gone to talk more than just that Kiwanis meeting, but I think a goal for this upcoming term is for San Jose to be more involved with the rest of the branches. But I really encourage reaching out if there are builders clubs or K kids in your areas, your divisions, because they're fun to work with. They're very sweet, and children a lot of the times are very excitable.
Fun fact too, Cal State Fullerton hosted a builders club at our school, and we taught them some of our cheers, our club cheers. All right, moving on to Key Club. Some of you may be part of Key Club, like I was as well. I was part of Division 30 North. And then they are the high school branch. They are our largest branch with over 260,000 members. And Kiwanis is also part of Key Club, and they are considered the 32nd district of Key Club with 1,900 members. And the reason why Kiwanis is a separate district is because it's initially started as just for women, because women could not join Key Club when Key Club was first started. And so they started at Kiwanis, but now both Key Club and Kiwanis both accept both genders, but they continue to keep Kiwanis just to have like the remembrance. And Kiwanis is also only part of our district, which is California, Nevada, Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. It's cute. And before we move on really fast, one of the things that's really similar to Circle K actually is that their divisions in Kiwanis are actually the names of gemstones. So they have turquoise, sapphire, fun things, just how Circle K has names that are sunset, capital, all of those ones. Key clubs, the rest of the districts, they have numbers similar to Kiwanis. Now, we're on Circle K, and that is all of us, the college and university branch of the Kiwanis family. There are over 13,000 members with 550 plus clubs at various levels of membership, starting with 10, 15 members, oftentimes starting for community college is going to clubs with 400 plus members. And CNH is the largest district within Circle K International. I think a close, at least upcoming second, is outside of the United States is the Caribbean district. And if anybody wants to make some friends outside of the United States and really get on the level of international, I would highly recommend reaching out to members from there. They're very active on social media. Cool.
All right, next is Action Club, and this is the adult branch with those with like special needs, with disabilities. But they have over 1,200 members, and they also go to the district level, so they're not supported internationally. But Kiwanis does work closely with Action Club, and if any of you are interested in working, you can ask any of your local Kiwanis if they have chartered or sponsored any Action Club. Like for example, like within my division, we have an Action Club nearby.
Now we're at Kiwanis, the level that a lot of people know. And if they don't, I'm empowering or challenging each of you to inform your constituents and let them know that Kiwanis exists and Circle K is a part of this family. Kiwanis is indeed the sponsoring branch. I like using the word seasoned rather than old because Kiwanians are of all ages, and we are adults here in Circle K as well. There are over 550,000 members, and this includes all of the branches of the Kiwanis family, not just Kiwanis, because in all, like, we are members under Kiwanis, and there are Kiwanis clubs in over 80 countries all around the world. It really is international, and it's so cool to be able to interact with different Kiwanians. They have conferences for specific areas. I know in Asia there's conferences for the Kiwanis clubs over there. They have a similar structure or at least our structure is similar to Kiwanis in the aspect that they have international conventions, there's district conventions, you name it, there's more often than not an idea or at least an event that's similar in Kiwanis as it is in Circle K. Cool.
And then fun fact, their international office is in Indianapolis, Illinois, Indiana, and also for CNH, their office is in Rancho Cucamonga.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we'll be moving on to some acronyms, which Monica will be showing us any acronyms that we see that they're useful for not just K-Fam representatives, but for any general member too.
Yeah. We'd like to first break it down into 5 main categories. And before I go into any of these fun stuff, if you have a favorite acronym, please, I give you permission, go and say it in the chat right now, like either the weirdest one or your favorite one or one that you don't ever remember that what it means or are confused. Go for it. Cool. With that, there are some categories we'd like to break down acronyms into because as a lot of you may know, the Kiwanis family really loves acronyms. We like letters, we like shortening things and using them, and unfortunately, not all the time does everybody know what they all mean. So with that, the categories that we've at least had or thought of for today are having different branches that are acronyms specific to different branches, specific to different positions, events, documents, and of course miscellaneous if nothing falls into those categories. And examples are on the other side of the screen. The first being SLP, which I had mentioned earlier, meaning Service Leadership Program. And this refers to the branches in the Kiwanis family that are not Kiwanis, because we are indeed servant leaders and we're working as constituents of the Kiwanis family. Next is Circle K International, or CKI. That's also in relation to branches. We use that interchangeably with Circle K International because it's shorter, and that's why we have acronyms. Next would be LTG, or Lieutenant Governor, and these particular officers are in charge of overlooking divisions such as Capital, Sunset, Golden Gate, Paradise, Metro. I don't think I'm going to name all of them right now because I don't want to forget any of them, but all of the divisions, all 9 of us. Next, we have DCM, which is, I saw somebody had mentioned earlier, which means Divisional Council Meeting, and the LTGs, Lieutenant Governors, are the ones to often lead these meetings in order to have all of their clubs participate with meeting one another, making decisions, and giving updates. Next is ERF, or Event Request Form, which we will actually go into more later, and that itself is a document that is used to request permission to invite other clubs or divisions to events. And lastly, we have CNH, which is miscellaneous but really important because all of us are united because of CNH, which is our district. It consists of clubs from California, Nevada, and Hawaii, which is really fun.
All right, next we're going to be just talking about some interclub ideas for you to connect with other branches. So first is to attend meetings. It can be general meetings, board meetings, and like we talked about earlier, DCMs. And so in my personal experience with when I attend Kiwanis meetings, they like to ask if anyone has a report to give, and so because they want to hear updates on your club and how you're doing. And they also like to have everyone introduce themselves so they can get to know you more. And also, if you go to a Key Club DCM, it's good to let the LTG know that you're going in advance, because sometimes, let them know that you're going in advance, because working with Key Clubbers and younger branches, there's like guidelines you have to follow because they are not considered adults yet. And for conferences, this mainly applies to Key Wins and Key Clubbers because they work on the district level. So they have officer training conference, regional training conference, or district convention. You can you can have an SAA attend, and that basically SAA stands for Sergeant at Arms, and you basically make sure that no one there is breaking code of conduct, and you just watch over and make sure no one's causing any trouble. And sometimes they ask for any workshop hosts from Key Club or for Circle K, and you can host workshops for Key Clubbers there. and for district convention SAA, they tend to be like overnight, and they can last from like a nighttime to maybe like 1 or 2 in the morning, because you go around like the hotel making sure that the clubbers are not making too much noise, and they're not leaving their hotel rooms, because they're not allowed to leave the rooms after a certain time period, and there's not purpling allowed, so boys and girls cannot be in the same room, and there's other stuff like that. I mean, so they have really strict guidelines in comparison to ours. So for projects, you can invite them to your service projects, and this is for any branch, and you can invite them to your meetings or attend their meetings. And you can also invite them to your fundraisers, which would be like a really good idea because Kiwanis like to donate a lot of money for us. So it's a good way to raise some money for your club. And for KFAM specific events, we have Key to College and Key to Life. Key to College is when we invite Key Club and Kiwan members over to learn more about college, and we can give them more information on how to deal with stress, or like how to find jobs, or how the dorming system works at your club, at your school. And for Key to Life, that's when Kiwanians have workshops for us to learn more about the real world, and they can give like their experiences and how we can learn from them. And some examples of KFAM events that I personally hosted, like I hosted a Kiwanis Family barbecue at my club, and I invited Key Clubbers for a barbecue. So my board members made food for them. We also hosted service projects for them and had a workshop for them to learn more. And you can also host an Olympics, so you can have people put into teams, and you can have like Kiwanis be the judges and stuff like that. And a Kiwanis takeover is when you take over a Kiwanis meeting and you run your general club meeting during their meeting, so they can see how your club runs, and they can learn more about what you're doing and any events you can have to update.
Mm-hmm. At the Kiwanis takeovers in particular, it's good to be able to create a bond and really take leadership and show the Kiwanians like how you would do it, how you would lead meetings within your own clubs. With meetings in particular, like I highly encourage, if you haven't already, to visit your Kiwanis clubs, because they love seeing new faces. And some Kiwanis clubs sing, some Kiwanis clubs will make you sing or make you give a speech, and they will want to hear you talk, want to connect with you. And it really helps to put faces to the names, because oftentimes Kiwanis clubs, they don't bat a second eye about giving funds or helping out, and it's a way to be able to say thank you and help them make a better connection. And who knows, like after like you form this like professional and Kiwanis branch like kind of relationship, like there are so many opportunities from these professionals that you can gain, and information in terms of being a mentor or a mentee in regards to the Kiwanis family. There's a lot to learn and a lot of traditions, and sometimes it's just nice to be in a different environment. It's very fun, and right now there are no excuses. There are so many Kiwanis clubs that have meetings online, and I never thought I'd be able to go to a Kiwanis club meeting in San Diego area, but I got to the other week, and it's really amazing and really funny to see Kiwanians making fun of one another in meetings. I thought Circle K members like to joke around. Oh my goodness, I think some of us have nothing on the Kiwanians who've had long-standing friendships for years and have served together. So please go. They will welcome your presence. And if you are looking for a Kiwanis club to talk with, either check in with your presidents, with your Kiwanis family chairs to see who your sponsoring Kiwanis clubs are, or both. There are Kiwanis clubs that I know that would love to see Circle K members from around CNH. So you're more than welcome to reach out to Christine and I personally to check in and see what Kiwanis clubs are out there to know how they operate.
Yeah, this probably won't be a problem for now because a lot of class meetings are going online. But when they do go in person, a lot of them like to host meetings in the morning, and some of us may not wake up early in the morning. I slept through a few Kiwanis meetings, but they also serve pretty good food, so let's guess it's a good motivation there.
Yeah, that's really true. In terms of Kiwanis meetings, we're dwelling on it a little longer because we are here as Kiwanis family representatives, but Kiwanians do have meetings in the mornings. Some of them have meetings in the afternoons, and I've been blessed to be with Kiwanis clubs that meet at noon, either on Mondays or Thursdays, so I don't really have an excuse because I should be already awake by then. And there are also clubs that meet in the evenings. We meet around dinner time, 6 o'clock, and oftentimes the divisional council meetings on the Kiwanis side are also in the evenings. There's a lot of events to go to, and many Kiwanis clubs are having meetings online, regular schedules. Several of them are still keeping it weekly. So there's a lot of opportunities now that we're all online and people are bored and looking for things to do. You just might have to make your own food and have it virtually. Yeah, anything else to add? Cool. With that, we're going to maybe a topic that many of you know about, maybe you don't. And regardless of what area of expertise you are, there's always room for a refresher. I know I've worked with the Youth Protection Guidelines, the YPG, for many years, and being a past Key Clubber, it wasn't something that I was aware of, even though I was in Key Club for all 4 of my years, but it's something that's really important, how we as Circle K members or as future Kiwanians interact to protect ourselves and the safety of the other SLP branches and minors. Cool. With that, there are several points that I would like to share with you. If there are more questions, we can touch on it later. I don't want to bore with all the tedious data, but the YPG are very important. And first and foremost, it's very easy to access this document. What's shown here is a screenshot or a snipping I think I'd taken from the website that it's on of the document itself. It's 2 pages, and this document is something that's continuously in the process of being updated with the new age of social media especially. It was last updated and enforced back in February, and it includes different aspects of interacting with SLP members, especially minors, in regards to chaperoning, overnight stays, social media, what to do and stay as an adult, and just as a member of the Kiwanis family. And this applies, especially as my first point says, when you're taking initiative with interactions. I know there may be members in this call that are freshly out of Key Club or in your first years of college, and it's hard because there's the mentality of being in Key Club and everybody's your friend there. You can reach out to a Key Clubber, add them on Facebook that you met from another division at Fall Rally North or any big district event, and it's fine because you're at the same level in the organization. But now being in Circle K, there are a little bit more restrictions to provide more safety and guidelines for interactions with Key Clubbers, especially because we ourselves as Circle K members are so close in age. And the biggest, at least one of the biggest points that we have to talk about is the idea of social media and the presence that we have as Circle K members and as people interacting with Key Clubbers. One of the main things on the YPG that's really applicable now is how we interact online. And I want to emphasize this because right now, the majority of our interactions, if not all of them, are going to be online with a lot of our people within the Kiwanis family. Right now, like, we may not be on Facebook, but Zoom calling, we're online, we're needing to do this. We have a space that's private to ourselves, and it's important that we uphold ourselves as Circle K members as leaders and examples for good conduct. And with that being said, whatever you say online is something, especially when you're talking with other members and other Key Clubbers, is something that you would be okay saying in public. Your conduct is very important, and it's better to be safe than sorry in a lot of places. I see a question, and it's, where can I find the YPG? There's there's several ways, but the main way I like to say is search up YPG or Youth Protection Guidelines, Google it online, and one of the first hits is it'll say what Youth Protection Guidelines under the Kiwanis family. And this document is located, I believe, on the international website. We'll provide a link. I think it was in the notes rather than on the slide, and we can update it and put it in the chat after this. We have somebody who did already. Perfect, thank you. And it's there, it's a document, and please check regularly in case when it gets updated, because there are so many new things with social media. But if you don't have the link saved, look up youth protection guidelines online, Kiwanis, and it'll be there. There's a lot of things to read about, and it's not hard reading. It's 2 pages, which is fun. Next, we want to go into background checks, and these are things that we haven't enforced as closely here for Circle K members, but it's good practice to have a background check when working with any minors, Key Clubbers, Action Club. Some of the members are younger. Builders and K-Kids especially, because we're working with minors in those cases, or any like elementary schools. Oftentimes when working with them, sometimes the schools will require background checks, and you can get a background check through the Kiwanis Family, and these are active for 2 years. Feel free to ask more questions about those. A lot of the information can be found on the Kiwanis International website, and going forward, there's a lot more action being taken to inform on the idea of background checks and YPG in general. Next, it's really important that Circle K members follow the YPG when interacting with any of the branches younger than themselves, as I said earlier, because we are here to serve, we're here to lead, and really importantly, create a safe space, a welcome space, and one that'll encourage the younger members to participate and to eventually want to become Circle K members, become Kiwanians. And it's important that we interact in a way that we can be trusted and relied on as people who are representing Kiwanis. Because while we are Circle K members, like, the bigger picture is that we're part of Kiwanis. We're part of that family, and we carry that name with us wherever we go. People will know you, and maybe your term has ended as a president or as an LTG or as a board member from the past year, but you're still a member of Circle K at the moment. And that's really important to remember, that you're always going to wear your Circle K logo. I don't know where I'm going with that, but rather than having the emblem on yourself at all times, just you have an imaginary one. So just act with caution, use your head, and make sure that whenever you're acting, to ask if you're unsure about something, because this YPG, the Youth Protection Guidelines, they're not here to make you want to be discouraged or anything. It's here to protect everyone, the minors and adults, everyone, including ourselves. So as I said, please ask if you're unsure about something. And if the leaders don't know, if Christine and I don't know, and you ask us a question, then we'll follow up and get back to you, because it's much better to know and have concrete information than to just assume and rush things, especially with working with other people. Cool. Next.
Right, next, we'll be talking about the event request form, or the ERF, which Monica will also be talking about.
Yeah. Thanks, Christina. I know I'm talking a lot, and you feel free to jump in whenever you want to. And any questions, please ask away. If we don't get to them right now, we will get to them in the open space. But I want to know, I guess we can try polls. Can you please say yes or no, or say something in the chat if you know what the event request form is, ERF? Does everybody know how to do that? I see a yes in the chat. This is how you do the yes for the, if anybody knows how to do yeses or nos. I know professors like this for Zoom classes. Just trying to be on the same page. It's okay. I see somebody's clicked yes. Thank you. I'm glad we have a couple yeses and we have some nos, which is why you're here, to learn more about the ERF, which is really important. And this file, first and foremost, is located on the CNH website. So I know somebody had asked about the last one. Well, it's right there. It's also on the screen right here, at least the first page, so you can see it. But the whole file itself is located on the District Files tab of the resources page. There's also a place for Kiwanis Family, but make sure if you're looking for the ERF specifically, you're going under district files under resources. It's a form that's filled out in order for you to ask for permission from advisors to invite members outside of your club or division to go to events. And I've bolded at least 3 weeks in advance because it's really important to notify sooner than later. This form exists also not to punish and not to make people feel bad for not including people or inviting. It's to let advisors know what's going on, to let other people know that you're inviting what's going on, and make sure that the details of your events are solid, because in all honesty, like, events do take time to plan, and the more time that you're having and being proactive with what you're doing, if you have the name of your event, if you have the location and everything set much more in advance, it'll be more successful. And it really comes into play when you're inviting other people outside of Circle K, because oftentimes key clubs and Kiwanians, they can't drop everything to attend an event, and the sooner you give them notice, the more ahead of time you do, then the more likely you'll get a bigger group of people that are attending your events. So it's not limited to 3 weeks. If you can send it a month in advance or more than that, like, you're more than welcome to, just to get people on the radar of what your event is. And it's really important to send this in because clubs cannot publicize outside of your division or club until this event request form ERF is filled out. So let's say you have a banquet for Paradise. You can't invite people from my division Sunset until this is filled out. And hopefully it was done in 3 weeks, because it's going to take at least time for us to prepare to go down to SoCal to visit. And I know there are other types of events that would really need preparation ahead of time. And this gives people the peace of mind, especially advisors, that to know what's going on. An important factor that's taken into account for this form is the need of chaperones. This is so critically important, and I know with Circle K, it's sometimes really hard to get Kiwanis advisors and faculty advisors to come to our events, but it is crucial for SLPs because we need people there to be able to go to, like, if something was to go wrong, or at least having people there besides Circle K members just to watch over and be present for these events. These can be Kiwanians, faculty advisors from their home clubs. I know there have been parents that have been able to serve as chaperones if they're, like, background checked, and they have the proper, like, signatures and different things. But it's really important to have chaperones when you're inviting other people, and it does ask on the ERF for these. Equally important is, especially when you're having SLP members, is having a medical or photo release document. These are our waivers, our codes of conduct, if that is also being used. And it's important because we're working with minors, we need to know that it's okay with their parents, that they know what they're getting into, and that we have permission if we are to use their photographs, especially when we're advertising later on or sharing, like, with newsletters or on the web, because their privacy is important, and it's really good practice to be on the safer side and know what to do when things happen, things arise. Lastly, there is an additional resource we'd like to share that was made by the Kiwanis Family and Foundation Committee, and at least publicized by us, and it's a proposal doc that's to help with understanding what you want to do with events, especially in regards to the Kiwanis family. There's also a manual that's present that was made last year, I believe. It's also on the district files resource page. It should be right under the event request from the ERF form itself. So all these documents, as we mentioned, are located in the CNH website. They're there to for you all to see, and if there's any ideas in terms of what you would like to see that's not there, then please reach out to your district board, to your committees, to the new KFF committee when we're officially gone. There's so many things, and oftentimes there are resources that other clubs may have too that are not posted there specifically, but they just have. So ask questions. And in regards to the ERF, my biggest thing is look at it if you haven't already. It's not terribly long. There are several pages, but a lot of them are more information based rather than filling out things. And it's important, I think, most of all, that you know what you're wanting to do and that the appropriate people are notified, because it depends on the event which advisors are to be asked. So ask questions if you want to learn more about who for which events. It's not explicit on the form itself per event, but there are definitely things to consider. And one of the big things is in regards to KETA colleges, because I'm sure there are many questions about that. There are many answers on the page itself. So please take a look. It's good to know before you have to fill it out what you're getting into. Cool.
All right, next we're going to be talking about resources, which includes the earth. So if you ever looked at our resources that are on our CNH website, this is what the Kiwanis Family resources look like. You can find the Kiwanis Family Starter Kit, which is good for any beginning representatives or Kiwanis Family chairs to look at it, and so you can get even better understanding of what we presented to you and understand like what your position entails. And here's where you can find some supplemental documents. There's these two include manuals on how to grow the Kiwanis Family branches and any Kiwanis Family events that you want to plan. And this one is a transitioning from Key Club and Kiwanis Circle K manual, so you can give these two and get a better idea of any high school members who are hesitant to join Circle K, but you can kind of like try to convince them to join so we can grow our membership. And because sometimes Key Clubbers or Kiwanis may think that Circle K is just like another form of Key Club, but it's not. We're radically different from each other. So there's a link at the bottom right here if you want to take a look at it. Yeah, so you can find the proposal document and the waiver right here under the supplemental documents. And then these are the manuals you can find. So if you want to co-sponsor a K-Kids or Builders Club manual, it's right here. And these two manuals are good for even more event ideas that you can interact with all the branches together, not just like a one-to-one. These are specific events. So there's a KETA College, KETA Life manual. And there's also, if you want to host a Kiwanis Takeover or any Kiwanis Family events manual. Before we do that, and if you've ever been to our CNH website, and if you don't know how to get to the resources, I have it loaded right here. So this is our website. So if you want to go to resources, if you click right here, and there's district files, and you can find the earth right here. And then there's different resources if you're interested here. The Kiwanis Family is right here. And these are the manuals.
So prepared.
Okay, so I'm going to host an activity here, and I will use the breakout rooms, and I will split you off into 6 different rooms, and you'll be given a scenario and talk amongst yourselves and see how you would tackle that scenario. And I'll probably give you all maybe 5 minutes at most, and where you can discuss on how you would tackle the scenario. So these are different scenarios that you'll be discussing, and you will discuss whichever room you're affiliated with. And while you're in the room, please designate at least one person to speak, so we're not just sitting in silence, because we'll be discussing them afterwards.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if they'll be able to see the screen still, so I'm going to put the questions in the chat, so don't worry about that, everybody. And please encourage you to make new friends. We didn't want to talk at you the whole time, so these scenarios hopefully will help rattle your brains. One moment while we're splitting everybody up. I don't know how many groups that everybody will be broken into. Hopefully it's 6. If it's more, then let us know. And we'll be popping in to different groups. Oh, it did not say numbers. So please go to your groups if you have not done so already. You've been invited. I don't know if I can go to other groups because you're the host.
Yeah, it says I can broadcast a message to everyone, and I'll see if I
Okay,
can.
yeah. Do you want to do that with the...
Yeah, so I can type the scenarios.
Cool. When I was trying to copy it, it didn't have the numbers too. So I think it's because it's like 1, 2, 3, like a bullet point. This is a learning experience for all of us.
Oh, I have to do it. There's a limit how many words I can type.
Okay, so like 1 by 1.
Yeah, I have to do it one by one. Okay, I think it's
I think it'll still record if I jump into a breakout room. I'm gonna try. We still have people here. Cool. Hello.
Hi, Monica.
How's everybody been?
Good. Were you supposed to assign us one of the scenarios or just like just discuss?
It was whatever the number is, and I think
Yeah,
everybody started
see.
leaving before we made it that clear. Can everybody see the chat though?
No, not the main chat. No.
Not any, really?
Well, I'm on my phone.
Oh, okay. Well, the prompt, because this is group 1, and this is something to learn about future, is you've booked a room for an event in advance, but then you get an email saying that there's a double booking, so you will no longer be able to use that room. What do you do? So if everybody wants to unmute themselves and say hi, what school you're from too. I know a couple of you, but not everybody.
Hello. Well, I'm Josh. I'm from University of the Pacific. But to start out, if you have to deal with a double booking, something I realized in the past from past experience was that for sure contact the person, the other group who also booked the room as you. Because for starters, maybe they booked it at a different time, so it's not even a general conflict. Maybe like they booked it from like 9 to 4, and you have it from like 4 to 9, 10. So like maybe you can work that out. If that's not the case and you booked it for the exact same time, then you can try to find like a leeway to work it out. Maybe you can like, maybe it's like a very large room. Like find a different way to like just communicate. Like, because for sure, like it's not gonna find a better solution for one group or the other to just cancel unless you can also find that way to work. Like if one group's willing to switch their date and that works, and that's by all means, but just assume that both groups need the room for their own purpose and their own reasoning. So just see their perspective also, and don't just think like, oh, I booked this room, so I own it. Like, communicate well.
Makes sense. Anybody else?
Really cool. So that actually happened to one of us before. And we did try to coordinate with the other group, and ultimately we, because our school usually has event services, we contacted them and they allowed us to see if there was another room open for us. And they gave us a heads up like a couple months ahead, so we weren't like urgently trying to search for a room. So it was nice of them for that. So it worked out in the end.
I'm glad. Bella, Josefina, what about y'all?
Hi, I'm Josefina from Cal State East Bay. I'd say basically Josh said everything I had in my mind, but basically communication's key. You want to make sure that both of you guys get the better of anything, you know, just work around each other. And yeah, definitely getting that room booked beforehand, like a lot of time beforehand, is very essential to that. So yeah.
Cool. Alrighty, I think we're going back now. Thank you all for sharing. Does anybody want to be the one to talk really fast? It won't be long, probably like 10, 15 seconds. In the big group. Don't all jump at once. Goodness. Okay. I'm going to ask from this group and we'll see. See you in there. Welcome back, friends. Are there still people straggling in the big group? I think we have like 30 more seconds from that.
All right, so hopefully you've all talked a little bit about your scenarios. If not, then that's okay because we'll all discuss them together. So let's start with the first one, which is you've booked a room for an event in advance, but then you get an email saying there was a double booking, so you no longer are able to use that room. So would anyone from the room one group like to share what they discussed?
I know we went over the question because I just came out of that room. So Vanessa, Josh, or Josefina, one of you three, what y'all thinking?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, hi. What we talked about is basically communicating with the other group or group of individuals who have booked that room. Communication is key. If for some reason it's a very large room and both of the events have to go on at the same time, just like work around them. Make sure that both of you guys are getting what you guys need essentially, but what would be really helpful is if the room is booked super in advance, so that would be less likely to happen. But essentially, yeah, just talk to them. Don't be afraid to talk to them. Just work things out. Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's good because this happened to me when I was booking a DCM for my division, and I had a double booking at a Kiwanis venue, and what I did a similar thing where I worked out with the person who had also had a booking, because when I arrived there, they had an event already planned, but then I was able to use like the other side of the venue, and so our events didn't interfere with each other. So the second scenario is you prepared food for an event, but you realize there's not enough for everyone. So would someone from the room two please discuss what you shared?
And I do have a question. I know it was a little bit confusing, so thanks everybody for bearing with us with this scenario. If there wasn't anybody from group two, does anybody want to tackle this in the next 30 seconds? What you would do if this was to happen?
Can I say something, Monica?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Say who you
Okay,
are.
so hi, I am Brandon. I am the immediate past president for Delta College. We have a small campus, and so a lot of coordinators, they have their own people that schedule the rooms, but there's like usually a 2-step process. So I'd say if this happens, just make sure you know the people you need to go to. For example, our club, we have to submit a file to a higher above club, which oversees all the clubs, which in our case is a Associated Students Club or whatever. They oversee all the other clubs on campus, and then that file goes to another person who's in charge of booking and scheduling classes or the rooms for any events or meetings. So what we did was I personally talked to the people that I need to talk to in that specific office, and then I ask them to give me an appointment to talk to the lady that books them. So if I'm able to go to the lady that approves our request and sends it out, if I'm able to do that that day and have her immediately, oh, hey, look, it's already been submitted. Okay, I'll press okay. All you have to do is go talk to her now. So it's always good to know who you're going to and know who to talk to in advance, as well as have a second room in play just in case, because you can always ask that person that's booking the rooms, hey, if this room gets overbooked somehow and we lose it, can we have a standby room or put a post reserve on it, if that's possible? And usually they'll be able to work around that for you.
Thanks, Brandon. Cool. And we had a comment or a question in the chat about a recommendation asking, can we portion it out for more people in terms of the food? And that's a good idea as well. If there are additional ideas, feel free to mention them in the chat. That's what we're here to start communication.
Let's move on to the third one. You're setting up a presentation or slideshow and find out that the projector isn't working. So if anyone in room 3, please discuss what you shared.
Or is there anybody with an idea about that? What you would do has this happened?
Where does this take place? In a classroom or in a outside?
Probably a classroom, but you can take it whichever direction you want to go.
If it's in a classroom, I think I would try like screen sharing, like a lot of professors do. So whether through Zoom or one of the apps the school provides, I could try to screen share the slides onto their computers. And if there isn't any computers, it's just like an empty classroom with a projector that isn't working, then I would do it without the projector. I would still present, hopefully sharing the slides after or during the presentation itself.
Thank you. And where are you from?
Oh, hi, my name is Alan. I'm from Cal State Fullerton. I'm their secretary, and I am Christina Lamb's little.
Wow. Very nice.
Thank you, little.
Cool.
All right, yes, so I've actually had this happen to me both inside a classroom and outside of a classroom. So if inside a classroom, it was during my key to college. Luckily, like we couldn't sign into the computers and so we wouldn't be able to access the projector. But someone who works on campus actually had like the administrative email to get into the computer, so I figured out how to access it. But this also happened to me during my Kiwanis Family barbecue, where I didn't have like the right cables and then to the projector, and then obviously it was not inside a classroom, so I can't like find a new way to do it. So I just had the person who was hosting my workshop to speak orally. Okay, so fourth one, you booked a room for an event, but when you get there the day of, the room is locked and you can't get in. So anyone from room 4, please, or anyone in general?
And we'll keep it on the shorter side.
Yeah.
Because time-wise, but we just wanted to get to all of them. Any ideas?
I guess I'll talk about one. Well, you could probably try to like get someone from a reception desk and talk to them that you just can't get into that room, and they'll try to get a hold of someone with access, like probably a locksmith or anyone who works at that location.
It's a good idea. Bill, where are you from?
Sacramento State University.
Cool. Thank you.
So yes, this happened to me. Like my banquet or like any rooms, anytime I book on campus, they never leave it unlocked for us. So we always have to ask anyone who's working there so to open it for us. So yeah, that's an idea. This also happened to me when I was booking at another DCM. It was also another Kiwanis venue, except no one was at the site, and no matter how many times I called the person in charge, they never picked up. And so we ended up having our DCM in the parking lot. Okay, fifth one, you've pre-ordered food for an event, but you find out that it's been delayed and it won't come in time for your scheduled lunchtime. So anyone would like to share?
Well, I'm Kim Hui from, I'm one of the Kiwanis Family chairs at UCI.
Hi.
And what my group discussed is we would inform everyone that our food would be arriving late, and we didn't really expect this. And we would also try to move activities that would come after lunchtime before, so we get things done, or we'd have icebreakers instead of having the food like at the scheduled lunchtime, so we can have lunchtime later when the food actually gets there.
Thank you. Those are such good ideas.
Yes, so yeah, I had to do that for my barbecue because it wasn't pre-ordering food, but we were cooking the food and burgers were taking too long, so we had to flip the whole agenda around. And so the last one, you want to attend a Kiwanis meeting but it conflicts with your school or work schedule. Anyone would like to share?
I guess I can share this one.
Go ahead.
So like sometimes it can be hard to Kiwanis because if it does conflict with school work, it's a very hard workaround. What sometimes you may have to, what I recommend is try emailing your professor days in advance before the Kiwanis meeting and say I have something else to do, I won't be able to make class, please fill me in. And same with the work schedule too, because I mean, as much as we're all involved in Circle K, we all have our own lives outside of it, whether it be school, work, or any other activity. So, and the thing is most of the professors can be very considerate too, because there have been times when I had to email professor saying I have to skip class because of a certain event, and they'll usually be very considerate. They'll say, oh, that's perfectly fine. But even if the rare chance these people that don't give you the time off may not be considerate, sometimes you have to message your Kiwanis saying truth is as much as I love attend your meetings, I'm very strict on time, and fortunately my teacher or boss won't let me skip that time. And even they too can be considerate. You always want to find a workaround, whether it be with your side or the Kiwanis side. You can find the middle ground.
Yeah, thank you, Justin. School, we're all students first, so as much as we want to go to meetings, it's really important to do your homework, go to class as much as you can, because you can't be in Circle K if you're not a student. So thank you everybody for sharing.
Yeah. And if you really can't attend a Kiwanis meeting, you can delegate one of your board members to go, or if you have a committee, then you can have one of your committee members go, and that'll give them a lot of leadership experience as well.
Agreed. And honestly, it's fun to go with friends too, and so you're not the only Circle K member there. Yeah, Kiwanis Family for life. I'm seeing those. Yes.
Right. We have 3 minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
right,
with
so anyone has any questions?
Yeah. Any questions or comments? It's good you're here. I hope you've been keeping track of the poros. There's one right there. Only one on this slide is counting. Are there any questions or comments?
Okay, if not, we'll be moving on. And thank you for joining our webinar for Kiwanis Family 101. You have our contact right there if you want to email us for any information. And you can scan the QR code, and there's a link right there to sign in for the session. So thank you. Okay, and if you are curious, there were 70 poros in the entire presentation.
I thought we were gonna ask them first, but
oh, sorry.
Anybody wanted to guess?
There was a question in the chat, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you. I was that read it. The stacked ones didn't count.
They did
by
count.
the way. They did not.
Okay, the question: how would you guys recommend that we interact with Action Club? So I've attended a few meetings, and they like to have many service projects on there. So one of them was cutting out coupons so they can send it to any people in the Army. And besides attending meetings, they also like to partner with Kiwanis to host Special Olympics or any pancake breakfast. Mm-hmm. And so the pancake breakfasts are really popular event for Kiwanis. And so that's where you can interact with Action Club.
Yeah, and I think the other idea is how you would, and I would recommend just being very open, being very patient, and being very friendly, because they are Kiwanis family members, no different than we are, and we're here to serve together, and oftentimes they're very giving and friendly. So thank you for your question, Olivia. Really cool. And if you have questions further, as everybody knows, reach out to myself or Christina through our emails or messages on social media. We're there. And with that, would everybody be down to turn on their cameras and take a picture? because that would be cute. If you're not comfortable, it's okay, but if you are, like, please, I will take a screenshot because everybody looks so cute. And it's nice to see faces behind. No worries. Alrighty, when everybody is seeing a lot of people pop on now. Ready? I think I'm gonna have to do like 2 pictures, but
I was only here for the last 10 minutes. Bye.
no, you're here. Once in KFM, you're always in KFM, so no excuses, my dude. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. Cute smiling. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, thank you everybody for attending. I'm
Thank you
gonna
for coming.
stop the recording, but y'all can hang out for a little bit. How do